Hey everybody, today is Wednesday, and Wednesday is the day I like to call the good, the bad, and the Samuel. Now today I'm going to be making a discussion over my top 5 somethings, my bottom 5 somethings, and Samuel's favorite something. And today's category is, if you don't know, Pokemon has released its new game, Pokemon X and Pokemon Y. I know the titles seem really weird, but we just have to roll with it. And this game is particularly exciting because it's in full 3D. And that's just one of those things that seem really cool. And I've been playing Pokemon since I was little, so this is one of those things that I'm pretty pumped for. Now, back to my list. My top 5 Pokemon, my bottom 5 Pokemon, and Samuel's favorite Pokemon are one of those things that are kind of hard to decide. And I decided to roll with it in not a traditional way, where I pick my 5 just exclusive favorites in my opinion, but 5 Pokemon that really deserve recognition due to their unique abilities or designs that really should be more prevalent in Pokemon design in general. And I'm going to start off also with the top 5. At number 5, which surprisingly is Burmy. Now Burmy's the bagworm Pokemon from Sinnoh, and it's one of those Pokemons that a lot of people just kind of ignored. And they shouldn't, because it's good because, not statistically, but with its sand coat, forest coat, and trash coat, it gives it character. Character that's based off region. The Gastrodons did it too with East and West, and that's one of those things that I think should be more common. I think Pokemon should just have different looks, even though they're the same Pokemon. I know the Unova had one too, Basculin, I think, had an East and West version, and those are one of those things that I feel that as time goes on, there should be more of. Number 4 on this list is Vespiquen. Vespiquen is a cool Pokemon in its own right, but it definitely wins a high rating because of its moveset. And the moveset's one of those things that people don't really think. They just give it the most powerful move of the type, and they really just, try to cover their weaknesses and whatnot. But movesets can really actually flesh out a Pokemon and give it a lot of character, and I think that Pokemon should have this. Vespiquen has Attack Order, Heal Order, and Defend Order. It's attack unique to Vespiquen, no other Pokemon can have it, and it really just plays up the aesthetic that she's the queen bee, and as all the little, underlings fly around and do her bidding, and she's sitting back passively like a queen would do. It gives characterization to a Pokemon just through its moves, and I feel like more Pokemon should have that, and that's why it's number 4. Number 3 in this Pokemon is another one that is, its base design gets it a spot, not over its, whether I like it or not. Which, in this case, I actually do like this Pokemon. And that's Sawsbuck. Sawsbuck's a Unova Pokemon that, really made advantage of their new style of way of telling time with the regions changing seasons. Fall, winter, spring, and summer. I know I sounded unsure, sorry. And with the Pokemon visually changing through the seasons, it made a really interesting thing to play as. I know I always found myself waiting for winter because I thought the Sawsbuck in winter was the coolest, but it's one of those things that, Pokemon change like animals change. And I think they would change because of temperature and just climate. So, Sawsbuck changed, and I feel like that was one of the Pokemon that really stood out because of this. And more Pokemon, once again, should have this. Okay, 1 and 2 will be a little different from the previous ones because they'll actually be my personal favorites, and in my opinion, some of the cool Pokemon that are just cool. Number 2 is Honchkrow, the big boss Pokemon. He came in around Generation 4, as an evolution of Murkrow, which is a Generation 2 Pokemon. Now, I don't really care for that idea of, having a single evolution Pokemon and then giving an evolution later. I don't know if that was because of forethought or just because they're like, we need more Pokemon, let's evolve these. But I really do like Honchkrow. I think he's a really cool design. He, kind of fits his theme. He's the big boss, and I'd like to imagine Pokemon, Murkrow's flocking around him, feeding for scraps as this big old bird sits around. He's cool. Plus, I had a Honchkrow named Mordecai that pretty much never lost a fight and could beat the entire Elite Four by himself because of his super high critical hit chance. But aside from that, he's a cool Pokemon. And now, number 1, my personal favorite Pokemon. And this is one of those ones that I'm probably going to get a lot of flack on just because it's everyone's favorite Pokemon, and a lot of people like it and dislike it for completely different reasons, and blah, 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 blah. And there are some things about it that kind of made it notorious, but my number one pick is Gardevoir. Gardevoir is one of those Pokemon that I really like. I mean, in Japanese, it meant Sir Knight, and it's like a bodyguard for your trainer. And I always like that thing. That aesthetic of, it's there to defend you and not really just fight. I thought it was very regal and elegant, and that's kind of my preference when it comes to choosing things. And it was cute. It's a cute Pokemon. I mean, getting a baby Routes after Wally gets one in the third game, and you're like, I want that. That's rare. I want that. And you kind of raise it up from a kid to an adult. You get attached to it. I mean, I played a double battle all the way through the fourth game every double battle, like every single one of them with a Gardevoir and Gallade that were brother and sister. I bred them together. I mean, it's one of those things that I just liked. I liked that idea of them. I really liked Gallade. So, it's just one of those Pokemon that I really like. A lot of people, they like them, and there's a lot of things on the internet that tells a lot of people really like them. But, it's for reasons. They're cool. Alright, now it's time for the bottom 5. Now, these are, like the previous ones, not just my least hated one, or least liked ones, most hated ones, but also just the ones that, the design choice in them was bad, or just I didn't appreciate it at all. And you'll know what I'm talking about when I get there. But number 5 on my bottom favorite Pokemon is the idea of firefighting starters. Blaziken was cool in 3rd generation, and a lot of people liked it. But making 2 others that were pretty much the same Pokemon, the same moves, just looked a little different, kind of disappointing, and I think a bad design choice. You really could do a lot of things with the starters. They're kind of like your mood setters for the entire region. And when you just keep coming out with the same 3, fire Pokemon each time, just a different animal doing the exact same thing, it's kind of just lackluster and leaves a bad taste in your mouth. I was really excited when I saw Tepig because I thought it was going to be a fire dark Pokemon, like a Bandito Pig with fire and smoke screens and stuff. And I think that was I got really excited and then was, utterly let down when it was just another firefighting Pokemon that was big Chinese wrestler kind of character. And bringing us to number 4, which is not really a design choice, but a personal opinion that I think is shared by many people. And this Pokemon is hated. It's not hated because of the Pokemon itself. It's one very specific Pokemon that I really didn't like because, no one liked it because it was the worst thing that has ever happened to any Pokemon trainer. And I think you guys know where I'm going with this. Whitney's Miltank. Whitney's the 3rd gym leader in the 2nd Pokemon game. And Whitney's Miltank is one of those Pokemon that never could be beaten without, extreme skill. And when you're a young kid playing Crystal for the first time, like I was, I thought my team was great and I was doing real good. And then I lost probably about 14 times to Whitney. And it's one of those things where I was just getting beyond frustrated. I was angry at my game. I thought, why would they do this to me? And it was just one of those things that, other people might not have challenged with and were like, what, Whitney's? That's whatever. But, I know a lot of people, there's a lot of jokes about Whitney's Miltank and its notorious rollout. But it's one of those things that, added challenge to the game. I can't really be mad about that, but it was just one of those things that since a little kid, I've always hated that Miltank because it was just destructive in every way. Leading us to number 3. Now, number 3 is another one of those bad design choices, and some people disagree with me. People I know disagree with me when I say this, but I really don't like the roaming Pokemon. That's Latios, the magical dogs from 2nd generation, Thundurus and Tornadus from 5th. It's just one of those Pokemons that, you get up to it, you finally find it on a random statistical chance, and then poof, it runs away. I don't like it because it makes you go out of your way to do it. And I know that's should be a good thing when catching legendary Pokemon, But you raise this team that you're supposedly bonded with, and they're your closest friends, and, they're your Pokemon team. They're yours. But you have to, you can't even use them to catch them because you don't even get a chance to fight. You really have to raise your own team, like a Parasect or a Bronzong with block that can stop it from running away and then fight it. And it's just one of those things that I don't think should happen. I don't like it. I don't think it should be around. And, it's not fun. You just get mad or waste Master Ball. And, it's just one of those things. Now, like the top list, 2 and 1 on this list will also be just my least favorite just in general. I don't like them. They're my opinion. A lot of people like these 2 Pokemon. So, don't hate on me because I don't. Number 2 on this list is Garchomp, the Ground Dragon Jetstream Pokemon Transformer. I'm a plane, I'm a dragon, hurrah. I don't like Garchomp because I'm a hipster kind of when it comes to Pokemon. I don't like the overly used, this Pokemon is good, you should use this Pokemon because it has the highest statistics. It's great, use it, period. And Garchomp is one of those Pokemon that when I was playing competitively on Wi-Fi and whatnot, I saw it every match. Every single match had a Garchomp in it. And it was just one of those things that, I was getting very frustrated with. Everyone used a Garchomp because supposedly during 4th generation, it was the best Pokemon to have. Everyone should have a Garchomp. And just one of those things that I was just like, no, it's not cool. I don't like Garchomp. I don't think he looks cool. I think he looks dumb. But everyone used it. So you just end up fighting a non-stop wave of Garchomps. And that's just all I have to say. And number 1, my least favorite Pokemon of all time, is one that some people can agree with me, and other people will get very, very, very mad at me. It's kind of like a Garchomp situation. And that is Dragonite. If you don't know, Dragonite's the 1st generation pseudo-legendary, where it's, really powerful and, kind of hard to get, but, not actually considered a legendary. And the main reason why I don't like it is because it's a troll. Pokemon designed it to be a troll. There's no other reason why. You get a blue, elegant, sleek dragon, Air and Dragonite, and each of those, they're evolving up, and you're getting excited to see what this blue serpent creature is going to become. And then, out of nowhere, it puts on about 400 pounds. It has tiny, tiny wings and looks derpy. And it's orange. It's just one of those things where it's drastically changed in its entire aesthetic negatively. And I didn't appreciate that. And it was one of those things where you're just like, why? Why would you decide on this? Whose idea was this? And in the end, they made it statistically higher than most every Pokemon. So there was no excuse not to use it. It was super powerful. Lance had one. And if Lance had one, you had to have one. And I don't know. I just don't like it. I don't like the idea of it. It was just the biggest disappointment for me. And to this day, I'm still disappointed in it. Okay, now that I'm done with that and my hating on things, it's going to move to the next category, which is Samuel's favorite Pokemon. Now, Samuel is a very interesting chalkboard. And he really likes some special things, but I think this one is pretty self-explanatory, and I'm not even gonna tell you. I'm gonna let Samuel tell you, because, he wants to. He's really excited about it. This is his favorite Pokemon in the whole wide world, and you'll know why. Okay, so I'm gonna get out, and I'm gonna let Samuel tell you what his favorite Pokemon is. I'm Spoink! Isn't he just the most adorable chalkboardian pig you've ever seen? I think so. He's my best friend. But that's all for now. I'll be back tomorrow with Thursday, which will be another special treat. And I guess that's all. So that's me and my Spoink signing off.